remembering the forgotten Americans. I know that uh, Trump uses and is I believe using this to remember those who fought and served in the military, to remember our the policing agents and officers, and to bring them to importance of and the reality of what they've done for us. And I certainly believe that that is very important. And in fact, Lee Greenwood has a song that many people know about America, and it's a wonderful song. But there's one line in there that I would change, and it talks about that those who fought to bring those rights to me, and I would like to change that song that says those who fought who secured those rights for me, because those rights came from God, and these men and women who served in the military have secured those rights for us. I would, to get kind of down to the nitty gritty on this, I do believe that we have participated in wars that we should not have participated in because they become men's wars. Constitutionally, we were not supposed to participate in war unless it was declared by Congress that we were in war. And so I think the first part of remembering those who have served our country for freedom is to go into a war or a dispute correctly and in defense of freedom so that we can secure that. Now, as far as remembering the forgotten, I also want to say that I'm the only candidate that I know of in any state race, any US race, that has actually taken an oath to peace officers in Idaho that I will, as governor, defend them when they uphold their oath of office, that I will defend them both politically and physically and legally, so that they do not lose their job if they say, hey, look, I won't arrest that pastor for opening his church during a pandemic or keeping his church open. I won't arrest that mother for taking her children to the park. I won't arrest that business owner for staying open. What we have here is a situation that we put our peace officers in, where they know that they're violating the oath they took to the U.S. Constitution and to the state constitution. But they have to obey that. They believe they have to obey that in order to keep their job. And so we have, and they have mortgages too. They have families too. They have to pay their bills just like everybody else. So they're pitched up against keeping their oath and doing what they know is right when it comes to the Constitution, or not being able to pay the bills. And I think we need to eliminate that, struggle that they have. We need to eliminate that. And we need to say, look, you can keep your oath and keep your job. Because when they're told by a superior that they're supposed to go do something that they know is not right, that they know is unconstitutional, that it is in direct conflict of their oath, then they are put in a very, very precarious situation. And as governor, I'm going to eliminate that. I'm going to make it so that they can say no, and that the office of the governor will back them politically, physically, and legally, so that they can keep their job and move forward. And it'll completely change the culture of the police forces here in Idaho.
That's fantastic, Ammon. Let me tell you what I'm hearing. The executive in any, a mayor of a town, the president of the United States, a governor of a state, the executive so often forgets the men and women of law enforcement who have sworn their own oaths to serve and to protect, but are often put at conflict over their jobs versus their duty and obligation. And when they don't have an executive, such as a governor, standing behind them, then not only are they forgotten, they're caught in a crossfire of obligations between conscience and service that when you're governor of the state of Idaho, you have pledged yourself by a sacred oath, you're going to obliterate that problem. How am I doing hearing you?
Yeah, you're doing good. If people want to go to votebundy.com and then they go to news, and I have to scroll down a page or two, they'll see that there's an article in there that's titled Ammon Bundy's Oath to Peace Officers in Idaho. And let me just
Excellent.
read that. Let me just read a paragraph. I don't want to
Please.
go too much, but it says, what if the officers of Idaho knew that if they upheld their oath to defend the intent of the Constitution, the governor and the state of Idaho would have their backs? How differently would officers in Idaho act if they knew that they could appeal to the highest office of government in the state for defense of their job, honor, and position when a superior threatens them with insubordination for upholding their oath of office? What if officers did not have to choose between paying their mortgage or defending freedom? What if they could do both?
Wow. I'm going to have to actually really read that carefully. I was completely unaware of that, Evan.
Yeah.
Before we move on to number two, was there more you were going to say?
Well, I just wanted to say, I know there's a good segue going into number two, but I want to say that I believe that there's another forgotten American, and that is those who have worked to produce and to create our infrastructure and to build businesses. I believe that our governments have forgot those people. They have forgot, the hardworking American that just wants to go and produce, provide for his family, and they do so much for our country. And I believe that we cannot forget them as well, that it's extremely important that we understand, who is keeping America going and who is making things move and keeping us, basically thriving. And that's certainly not Washington, D.C. It's certainly not the Capitol building in your,
Absolutely.
in your states. It is the hardworking individuals, and I believe that they are being forgotten.
Ammon, when Kate and I were researching our book in 2018, I came across an economic definition of the forgotten American that I'd never heard of before. And it's very straightforward. It goes that whenever a legislator and a person who wants stuff free are speaking, so we'll call those A and B, whenever they're talking to each other, the person who's not in the conversation is the one who's going to pay for that stuff, and that's C. So A and B, they're always talking, and C is the forgotten American, the one who actually does the paying for what A and B so happily spend.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't forget them, because that's what this is all about. Otherwise, government has no purpose, and there's no proper form of government that is just self-serving. So let's not forget any of the Americans, those who have fought for us, those who stand for us, and those who make it all happen.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ammon. Number two, rule of law, is something that you said a moment ago. You saw a